Hi, my name is Dr. Jess Garcia, and this is your December 5th School Board Study Session recap. This evening, we met to discuss some attendance option redesign information. So Dr. Pekel started off by giving us just sort of an overview of where we have been to this point, primarily referencing our meeting last week where the proposal was presented to us as the board. So tonight we sort of focused, or at least started off, John Carlson and Jacque Peterson offered us some information about the financial impact of the attendance options redesign. So if you would like to know some of that information, I highly recommend checking it out in the video. It's at the mostly at the very beginning of the recording. And it is also available in the slide deck that was offered as part of the documents for this evening's meeting. They also went over some attendance boundary change overview. They did some visuals. They offered a look at the link where families can find out the proposed attendance areas for their home. So if you look at that link, it's already been sent to families and staff. You can take a look at some more of that as well. They explained to us a little bit more about the elementary and to middle school feeder percentages and the middle school to high school feeder percentages. A little bit about the elementary, middle, and high school impact that the recommendations would have. I would highly recommend looking at the charts. They're excellent and very easy to read. If you do have questions about how to read them, if you sort of reference the early part of the meeting, you'll hear John Carlson explain how to read some of the charts. We also got to see some of the maps for the changes in elementary, middle, and high school areas. So they did an overlay of what the current boundaries are and what the recommended boundaries would be. So if you take a look at those, you can see sort of what the adjustments are. Obviously, when looking at the maps, you're going to see that the elementary schools are the ones that are going to have the most changes to them. And the high school almost has very few or little changes. Then Kent Pekel sort of walked through at a very quick pace both questions that had already been submitted, and he just did sort of an overview about the response, and then also took some of the questions that we had in real time. So I'm not going to go over all of the information. You can certainly check that out. The ones that were already provided to the board are in a couple of documents that are available to you through Simbli. So the things, I'll just kind of highlight the items that we discussed just in case you want to cue into that last part of the meeting. So we talked about like attendance option redesign, the cost of the consultant who came in and provided us information about what that would look like, distances for walk zones and transportation zones, reducing walk zones and transportation zones, the demographics of the proposed attendance areas, spaces for students in self-transport zones, the percentage of students impacted by the boundary changes across the district, options for students impacted by the boundary changes, communications, the plan for communication for current district-wide option families, RPS support for self-transport for families who elect to do that. We heard some more information about the SAC expansion, the newcomers program expansion, a little bit more clarity on what we mean by school closures and why we're calling it that, what it means to reconfigure the schools, and also some information, again, on how you can provide us feedback. So deliberation and development, essentially phases 2 and 3 is where we are now. So tonight we had our study session and we heard additional information about the proposal that we were presented from last week. So next week we will have a school board meeting where we receive updated information on the ongoing analysis of this proposal. Then the week of the 13th, you're going to get an online feedback form. It'll be available in quite a few languages, and that will be available to you the 13th through the 22nd of December. And through the 13th to the 19th of December, we're also going to be holding some information sessions. There are some virtual and in-person options, and that information will be made available to you as well. So you can sign up to attend those meetings. We will then be moving to our January 9th school board meeting. So we're going to get an updated version of the proposal presented, but it's going to be a prep for action. So we're not taking action quite yet, but we are going to get all of the updated information, more questions than the ones that we've already been asked. Then on the 16th of January, we're going to have another study session in which we're going to do another deep dive into some updated information on the proposal. We've already gotten some really great feedback from you all that have, kind of shifted the way that we're looking at things. And then January 23rd is the school board meeting where we're actually going to vote on the proposal. So RPS will vote on that in our action category of the agenda, and should the proposal get approved, the implementation of the attendance options redesign will begin with early childhood and kindergarten enrollment and redesign of transportation routes, and that's going to start the week of January 29th. So please continue to send us your feedback. You can also send information, if not directly to the school board, to redesign at rochesterschools.org. There are a couple of other ways that you can get a hold of us. I know a number of you are reaching out to us on social media, or some of you have our phone numbers and giving us a call. We absolutely are open to that communication. And again, I really urge you to fill out the feedback form when you get it, and then also to attend an in-person or virtual listening session if you're able to do so. As always, you can send us an email. If you need anything else, we would be happy to help. Have a great